the item called G64, the number 1 base, the number 2 activator, and the number 3 the top, and the number 4 the brush saver. So for this kit, you could get all these items. And actually, you could have these colors, different red and pink color. And actually today, our nail technician wearing is this color called number 71. So here's the red color. We're going to select this color to make the designs too. And here's the designs look. We're going to use these designs. So let's go for the tutorials today. And for now, for this kit, the G640, the G646 for this kit, we have the limited times for this whole week. So if you have the interest to buy this kit, you could focus on our GHdip. And actually, we will have more cheapest powder kits for you to select it. And here's the color code, number 71 from our G646. It's the red color. It's kind of the dark red. And here's the number 93 from our another kit called G651. And here is the chunky glitter from our another powder kit. It's the number 3, G6607. So we're going to use these colors to make the designs today. Are you ready to follow our tutorial? And actually today we have the old tradition way to show you how to do the designs by our powder kit. And actually we're going to use the fake nails by our nail models. But now we're going to pick the bomb pads to dry the nail bed first if you are using the natural nails. So dry the nail bed first is kind of the necessary way for you to let your powder more stick with your nails. So if you're doing the designs on your own natural nails, it's so necessary to use the balm or the primer or any dehydrated liquid. So after that, we're going to use the base. You always need to use the number 1 base because we're going to use this to let the powder stick with your nails. So first, we need to apply the base to your entire nail from the middle left to the right. So every time you need to keep the brush flat, and every time you need to brush evenly. And put your finger 45-degree angle and dip into the powder. Before you are using the powder, you need to shake well the powder. And naturally, you need to use any kind of stick to stir well your powder. And prepare one brush to brush off the excess powder from your nail bed. Because this way to avoid your base brush get dirty. And to avoid your nail surface get bumpy or uneven. So later we're going to apply the second time of the base. Normally for our colors, we are going to do 2 coats. 2 to 3 coats is enough. So we're going to apply the second layer of the base. It's same way to dip into the powder. And just tap off. And to brush off the excess powder. So this simple way to make the powder nails designs. If you just want to make the solid color. So just leave it for alone. We're going to do a next now for the little fingers. So every time you could notice one details. Every time our nail technician going to shake the powder before you dip into the jar because you do not want your nail surface get bumpy. So this way is kind of the details when you do the powder nails. You need to shake well before you dip into your fingers. So if you're first to use the powder to make your nails, you need to do it slowly and just to dip into the powder quickly because for the base it will be easy to get dry. So just every time you need to brush off the excess. Okay, we're going to use another color to do the next. The reason why we chose two different kind of the colors because we want to let the nails design looks more outstanding. So we're going to use this gray color from our another powder kit called G651. The number is 93. The number is 93, the 93. It's the same way. Dip into the powder for 2 times. So when you apply the base, you need to focus on how you to apply it on your whole nails because sometimes the client might complain that's why their powder will be easy to cracking from their nail edge. The way you apply the base is to apply the base to your entire nail. Make sure don't forget the nail edge and especially the parts near the cuticle. But do not let your base to get on your cuticle skin. And actually next time we're gonna to show you how to do the powder nails on the natural nails. So just focus on our GHdip, the live stream of our GHdip. So for this fingers, we're gonna to use the chunky glitter. But before the chunky glitter, you need to prepare one clear powder. Normally for the chunky glitter, if you want to do the dip nails, you just need to do only one time. But for the first layer, you need to use the clear powder as the first. And we're going to apply the base again to make sure you brush your whole nails and to dip into this chunky glitter. And for this chunky glitter, the number is called 3003 from our G6607. Because for the chunky glitter is full of the glitter, so we do not suggest to do 2 times of the dipping. 1 times of the chunky glitter is enough, but for the first layer, you need to apply the clear powder. And after the chunky glitter, you need to use 1 layer clear powder to protect it again. So we need to apply the base. But for this time, we're going to use the clear powder to protect your chunky glitter to avoid when you do during the filing, it will be easily come off. For this 2-ounce clear powder, you could buy it from our dip powder accessories kit. For that accessories kit, you could get the full nail tools for you to do the dip powder nails. For the top finger, we're going to use these gray colors again. Because the top finger is big size, so every time when you doing this finger, you need to do it with more patience. And pick the suitable volume of the base. And then apply on your own nails, on your entire nails. Please keep the brush to anywhere of your whole nails. and dip into the powder again. Tap off and use the brush to help to brush off. So here's the designs. Okay, we picked one finger. We're going to use this nail buffer to do the slightly buffing. So here's our highlights of our fast drying dipping powder. So you could see we did not use any activator to dry the powder, because for our powder, it could be air dried by itself. So you just leave it for around 30 seconds, the powder could be dry by itself. So here the difference from other brands on the market. So it will be more saving time. But now the reason why we do a slight buffing of this finger, we're going to use the mirror powder to do this finger. So just choose one finger you like and then to do the slightly buffing. And we prepare this top coat, and this one is the gel top coat. The reason why we use the gel top coat because we need the nail surface a little bit thicky, and then to apply the mirror powder on. So if you want to do the mirror powders for your fingers, for your nails, you need to prepare the UV lamp. Before you are doing the mirror powder, you just need around 30 seconds. You need the surface half dry but it's still sticky, and then your mirror powder will apply on. Just remember this, do not let it under the UV lamp for a long time. Okay, time's up. We're going to prepare the mirror powder. And actually you need to prepare one brush, just like the eyeball brush. The eyeshadow brush, just like this one. This time we did not to apply the mirror powder for the whole nails. We just applied it a little bit on the top of the nails. So this time you need to do it slightly. And just let the powder along with your nail edge, the critical part. And actually for this kind of the eyeshadow brush, you could buy it from the Amazon too. It's the disable eyeball brush. So we're going to use the gel top coat again to protect the design. So when you apply the gel top coat, you need to take care. Do not let the mirror powder, come off with your brush. You need to do it softly and slightly. And don't forget the nail edge. So after that, we need to put it under the UV lamp for 1 minute to let it dry. So for this 1 minute, if you have any question, just ask us by our after sales service team. If you have any question for this kind of designs. Actually, for the mirror powder, you could buy it from the Amazon too. And today we select the silver one. Actually, you could have different colors. So when you apply the gel top coat to your entire nail, you must use the UV lamp for curing. But if you are making the powder nails, do not need to use the gel top coat. So while waiting the time's up for this finger designs really done, we're going to do the next. So now we're going to do it again for this finger, for this hand. If you miss the last part, we're going to do it again. You could follow us. So first, we need to apply the base to your entire nail. And dip into the powder with 45-degree angle. Take out and tie off. And use one brush to brush off. And apply the base again. So we just do these designs for this hand again. The same as the last hand. And brush off the excess powder. Just leave it for around 30 seconds. Then you could do the filing, buffing, and shaping. But actually, we're going to do the next finger. By using the fast giant dipping powder the powder kit, actually it could saving your time. And if you are new and a beginner to make the powder nails designs, actually you could to follow our tutorial step by step. Actually, when you're done all the designs, it just need around 30 or 40 minutes. So it's just saving your time if you're hurried to go out or working. And take off the excess powder. Oh guys, I want to remind you for this color, the red color is our number 71 from our G646. The item number called G646 for this powder kit. Actually now we have the limited time lightning deal right now. You could enter the Amazon.com by searching GHdip. We got another 4 kits to have the limited time lightning deal right now for this whole week. So you're not hurried by it, but if we have the stock, you need to buy it as soon as possible. It's the hot selling one for this red powder kit. So you might notice that our brush a little bit gets red, but don't worry. Actually, you need to wipe it off by the lint-free wipe. Or if you find still very dirty, so you could to keep by the brush saver. So now for this one, we're going to use one layer of the clear powder and one layer of the chunky glitter. And then to dip into the chunky glitter, just let it fully absorb well by the chunky glitter, because for the chunky glitter it will be easy to come off. Just adjust it a little bit by a finger and tap off. So if you want your nails bling bling look, actually you could do this chunky glitter for your whole fingers. But as our suggestion, if you want to do the chunky glitter, the first layer is the clear powder. The top layer is the clear powder too. We must be use the clear powder to protect it. And to dip into the clear powder, brush off the excess. Okay, just leave it. We're going to do the next finger. So every time when you apply the base, you need to focus on do not let the base to get on your critical skin. If you find already on your critical skin, you need to wipe it off before you dip into the powder, or your powder will be stick with your critical skin. So it's so necessary. Okay, so we already done the base. We're going to do the designs now. We're going to do the same to use the midway powder for these fingers too. But before this, we're going to do the filing. We would like to suggest you to use the nail machine to do the filing, because actually for the powders, it could be dry as the rock after 30 seconds. You could do the filing directly, no need to apply any activator if you are using our fast drying dipping powder kit. So when you're using the nail file to do the filing, you need to make sure when you're doing the filing, you need to take care of the cuticle skin. Do not over frying to scratch your cuticle skin. But actually you could adjust the speed of the machine as you like. Because our powder with the full pigment and smooth enough, it won't be too thick. So when you're doing the filing, you won't like the acrylic powder nails. It'll be very thick. So actually the thickness of the nails of the finger is good enough. So you just do the slightly of the filing is enough. If you do not have the machine, you could use the nail file to replace that. So now we're going to choose out the nav file we are talking. You could use this nav file to do the filing of your nav plate. Actually, you could use it to do the shaping of the nav edge. Especially for the chunky glitter nails, you need to do the shaping for the nav edge because the glitter might be out of your shape. We're going to do the shapings by this nav file. You could choose the rough one because we have the both side. Okay, we almost done the shaping. We're going to pick this nav buffer to do the buffing of the nav surface. Although it's the long times for doing these three parts, the filing, shaping, and the buffing, but it's kind of the necessary if you want to get more perfect powder nails. Especially for the buffing, because if you want the surface more smooth and your top coat looks more shiny, so the buffing is kind of the necessary part for you to do on your powder fingers. And actually, especially for this chunky glitter one. So during the buffing, I want to remind you, for this powder kit, the item called G6 now we're gonna to have the limited times lightning deal with the cheapest price for this powder kit. If you have the interest, just enter our Amazon.com by searching GHdip to get this powder kit. You could hold this kind of the nail buffer with your two fingers and just to do the buffing on the nail plate. I saw one client said that how to get these nail tools. Actually, you could buy this from our Deep Powder accessories kit. And if you have the interest to join into our Facebook group, that you will have the free gift too. So just when you enter the Facebook, you just search in the GHdip. And for this nail buffer, it's the two sides with two emery boards, the 100 grit and 180 grit. So you could choose the size you want and then to do the buffing. And under the camera, you could see our nail technician using different way to hold the nail buffer and change it. So when you are not so familiar to use it, you could still do the practice for the nail buffing, and when you hold it, you could to have the suitable size of the buffing to do the buffing. Because for this kind of the nail buffer, we have both sides and two shape on the two hands. So after all that, you could go to washing your hands, but actually now we're going to brush off the excess dust by the brush. This brush called dust remover brush. It's kind of the powder brush too. And use the lengthy wipe to wipe off the excess dust from the nail bed. So if you want the nail surface looks more shiny and glossy, it's kind of the necessary part to clean well off your nail plate. We like to use the lengthy wipe. So after that, we clean the table first. We take out the number 2 activator. So for the activator, we just use it only one time. But make sure you need to apply to your entire nail. Don't forget the small part. Just to apply the activator to your whole entire nail. Very thin layer because for the activator we just need to let the top get dry and shiny. After the activator we need to prepare the gems. So now we need to take out the number 3, the top. For the top, we need to apply 2 times. For the first layer, we do not need to apply too much. Just very thin layer of the first, but it's the same, you need to apply to your entire nail. To make sure your entire nail do not just pile up them. And brush evenly. And we're going to use the top again. When you see the surface half dry but still sticky. The important part is that you think the surface get matte, you need to go back and to apply the second layer on. So actually for our top, it could be dried within 1 minute. So if you want to put some diamond or gems for the nail plate to do the decoration, actually you need to prepare it first and to do it very quickly. So after 2 times of the top, you need to apply the gems you like and put your fingers as soon as possible. We're choosing the diamond, the gems, and to let your nails look more 3D. Although it's already the chunky little one. So here's the designs. It looks very charming and fabulous by the gems. So for this finger, we need to apply the first layer of the top. So you might have the suggestion that for other brands, you need to wait the first layer completely dry. But actually for our fast drying dipping powder, you need to apply the second layer of the top as soon as possible when you see the first surface already half dry but still sticky. We need to apply the second layer on to avoid your second top won't be dry. So it's so necessary after seconds you need to apply the second layer of your top. And for our top, it could be drying more fast within 1 minute and double shiny. Okay, we're already done for this hand. We're going to move for next. We're going to do the same way. We need to take out the number 2 activator. And every time to make sure your activator fall off your entire nail. And to use the number 3, the top. And you need to apply it 2 times of the top coat. So we're back to the first finger. We need to apply the second layer on. So when you see the surface get matte, you must be apply the second layer on. So then your fingers will be double shiny. So here's the chunky glitter one. If you like this looks, you could do the whole fingers. Okay. And actually we move for the next to make to put the gems. Another hands, we are going to use the gems to decorate the chunky glitter one. But this finger, we are going to use the gems to decorate this solid color one. And naturally remind you for this color is called number 71. And it's from our G646. And for that powder kit is now the limited time lightning deal right now. You could get this kit with cheaper price. So we need to pick the suitable sizes of the gems and put it on the fingers to let you look like the 3D looks with 3 gems. Okay, so move for the next finger. For this finger, we are going to apply the first layer of the top. Very thin layer of the first layer. And move for the next finger. Because it was saving your time if you do the top coat between your 2 or 3 fingers. But you must make sure to apply the top to your entire nail. Don't forget any part. So when you see the surface half dry, but still sticky, the reason why I remind you for so many times because it's so necessary if you want the top more shiny and could be dry, so it's so necessary. Do not wait the first layer completely dry. Okay, to move for the top finger, we're going to apply the second layer. And for the second layer, the top will be much more than the first layer. And you just leave it for around 1 minute. It could be dry. It will be faster than other. So here's the designs for today, which select the trunk glitter and the gems and one red color and the gray color. And we use the gray color and with the red powders too. So there it is so gorgeous, but it's super easy to make. So when you're choosing our fast dry dipping powder, you could have these designs on your fingers. So thanks for supporting. See you next time.